So after Season 3's release date, there's been a lot of chatter about how the kids survived on Isla Nublar for so long. And in this video, I seek to find out how. And warning, this will contain spoilers for all of Camp Cretaceous. But without further ado, let's get into some of my theories. So as you might be aware, in Jurassic Park 3, Eric Kirby managed to survive on Isla Sorna for around 8 weeks total. At the time, people were up in arms about the improbability of a single kid surviving on an island most adults die on within only a few days. But actually, the campers have crushed Eric's record, and by a lot. They survived on the island for 6 whole months without any of them dying. And I have a few theories for how this possibly could have happened. My first is actually from a flashback sequence from the very first season between Darius and his dad. Darius pulls his dad into the room to talk about a new discovery. The theropods, specifically Tyrannosaurus rex, could have fought for dominance, as well as for entertainment. This implies something small, but very important for the world of Jurassic Park. And that is that humans are still hunting and digging up fossils, just pretty much like in real life. The fact that they were able to find out that theropods could also do this for fun also implies that however they got their information, it's a lot more accurate than whatever we have, as would be expected from a society where dinosaurs have existed since the 90s. And Darius, as described as a dino nerd, I'm sure he's learned about quite a lot of the behaviors that scientists have found out about. The information this world has on dinosaurs would be revolutionary for a person trying to survive on an infested island. And now another point that I have. After learning about E750 from Sammy in Brooklyn, Darius says that the only reason why they have survived for so long is because they know how dinosaurs should act. Because the group, specifically Darius, knows so much about dinosaurs from beforehand, it's a good reason for them to be able to survive as long as they did. As they stayed on the island for longer and longer, they undoubtedly would have been able to learn a lot more stuff, probably indicated by Darius's field guide, and would be able to plan where and when they would go places to avoid dinosaur encounters. This is pretty much exactly like Eric Kirby and his T-Rex P that he used to ward off compies. He has learned to use his surroundings if he wanted to survive, and it is very much possible for them to have used their prior knowledge of dinosaurs to have stayed on Isla Nublar for an extended period of time. But now on the topic of survival, we need to talk about E750 or the Scorpius Rex. Now this will be a slight tangent, but just bear with me, it'll all make sense in a minute. A lot of people have been asking why it took the Scorpius Rex around 5 months to make a move on the kids, and I think there may be a few reasons. First is that the cryo-sleep tank it was in seemed way too small for what we've seen in the show. So what I can get from this is that at the time of the release in Season 2, it was only an adolescent and still needed time to grow. It most likely only hunted for food at the time due to its smaller stature and its need to find a place in the food chain, much like the Indominus Rex. So it may simply have been acting like a normal dinosaur while growing up, but only going crazy and rampant when it reaches full adulthood. As I brought up earlier, my second theory is that it may have just been finding its place in the food chain. There is no real known time for a new animal to be introduced and fully incorporated into an ecosystem, just because that doesn't really happen in real life. Only the closest thing is an invasive species. Well, there is a slight problem with this connection or similarity, and this is that we only know when the species becomes a problem, not really the exact time when it's introduced. So it could take any amount of time for a creature to settle in and to find its place. So simply, E750 could have just been testing and seeing how it fits in and how powerful it is compared to the other dinos. And now for the third and final theory. Theory 3 is an unrelated topic, but that's that it may have just been growing up like I previously said. But the Scorpius Rex may have only started wreaking havoc when its child reached maturity. My idea is that when the other one got old enough to challenge the old E750, the two of them started fighting for territory and resulted in the events of Season 3 that we see play out. So the kids possibly only survived that long because of these theories. They came with prior knowledge and that the Scorpius Rex may have been more tame originally. Now I know that Dr. Wu did point out that the Scorpius Rex was quite aggressive even before, as seen in the trailer where he was attacked, but anything could have happened. I'm not really sure, just pointing out flaws in one of my theories. But yeah, that's the end of my Camp Cretaceous video. I know this one was short, but this happens with a lot of them. They're just short. I don't really know how to make them longer, and I don't really want to stretch these videos out. But anyway, that's it for this week's video. Next week, I think that I'm going to put out an in-depth review of Assassin's Creed Odyssey, because why not? It'll be similar to my Origins video, because that actually did decently well. So to whoever made it this far, have a nice day.